All right, Amazon sellers and Amazon brands. Yev here with Zontracker. This might be a long video. I go over quite a bit of things about comparison and going from beginner and advanced level strategies of how you can complement different tools together, and especially how they relate to Amazon Attribution and what's going to be coming out. It took me a while to make this chart with some of the comparisons. But I want to get into some of the details within some of these things, and also some of the potential, basically really cool things that you could be doing, and how there's overlap with a lot of the features, but also if you use them all correctly in the same way together, could have really big advantages in staying ahead of the curve doing some of these things. So I'm going to go over some of these details, show an example of a funnel, and it's kind of like this arrow showing that when you're going from the beginning to the end of a process of a campaign or ranking or running Facebook ads, that it's basically going kind of like from top to bottom, and how the different tools play a role at the different stage. And then the other category is a combination of like all kinds of different other things that you could be doing. And some of these are also trade-offs where you could do a whole bunch of this stuff basically like for free at the cost of time or team members' time, or you're kind of paying for different tools doing a combination of these different steps. So I'll try to go over that. So it's going to be a good mix of beginner stuff and like super advanced stuff, or a combination of that. At least I think advanced, but hopefully we'll hear in the comments other ways you guys are using a combination of these tools. And the Amazon Attribution is a really new thing. There was the Amazon Attribution beta, and then the Amazon Attribution is coming out, rolling out, and it's going to be in more and more accounts. So I know over time there's going to be more detailed videos from others and from me as well, specifically on Amazon Attribution. But this is more in the context of how do all of these different things fit into place to try to, one, simplify the information, but also give you opportunity to then get more, whether it's complex or advanced, and see how advanced version of using some of these tools. All right, so I'm gonna go over where the red X's are basically that the tool doesn't have that functionality, or you don't want to be doing that, or it's like a low quality version of that functionality, compared to one green arrow is good, and then the more green, or a check mark, the more green check marks, the better. So just so you can see a comparison, for example, there's a lot of overlap between some of the tools, where one tool will do something better than the other tool or functionality, and some of these tools have either a lot of overlap or does what a lot of other tools. So in some of the scenarios I'll talk about, where of course it's better if you could do like all of the best practices across all of the tools at the same time, but I know that technically and realistically it's only going to be possible for a few of you that have the resources or team to actually master each of these features or tools. So let's start with going in order and how all of this happens. So I'm gonna use this arrow for anyone that's skipping throughout the video, just to the part that I'm talking about. So you're starting off with running a campaign, marketing campaign, external marketing campaign, whether it's Facebook ads or other ads. And what's going to happen is that the idea is that with Amazon Attribution, their goal is that you could do this basically anywhere you can put the link. All of that data is going to be inside of Amazon, but you can do it for any type of platform, most platforms. So there's a big list of platforms that you can do this on, but compared to something like Zontracker, you can only do within the Facebook ads business manager, ad manager, which includes Instagram too, but it's limited to that. That's the focus. And then with Pixelfy, it's very complementary. So sometimes people ask, should I use Zontracker or Pixelfy for this? And there's actually very little overlap in how there's competition between some features, but they're very complementary in a lot of ways. You'll see this, and then another video that I did before with Anthony from Pixelfy. But basically, you could put links also anywhere, wherever you can put a link, then that works, as long as the tracking isn't stripped from the link. But that can go anywhere. So you're starting off with your so first I'm going to go over how these features compare, and then I'm going to jump around all kinds of different tabs in Facebook Ad Manager for you to see examples of all of these. So that's going to be in the later part of the video after we see the comparison across all of these, and then some of the best practices of using them all together. And then we'll see if that's 30 minutes in or 90 minutes in. Try to keep this to under an hour. Then, is this direct to Amazon or multi-channel journeys? Is it including website, other types of funnels that you could be running using this attribution to try to improve understanding what's happening with Amazon? Are you getting sales or not, and other levels of engagement? So what this means is that in Zontracker, any scenario, the main thing is it starts off with a Facebook ad and it ends with an Amazon purchase. Everything in the middle doesn't matter. If it's going to other websites, there's no tracking in between, things are happening. So that's an advantage. There's all kinds of diagrams I've shown before. I'll kind of talk about all of those different scenarios. So that's with Zontracker. In Amazon, you're limited where somebody is clicking or where they're accessing a page that has the Amazon attribution on it. Same thing with Pixelfy. It's like wherever you have that link, someone has to click the Pixelfy link, then you're limited to that part of the journey. So it's beyond just Amazon, but it kind of depends where you are. And if you're using all kinds of different tools, ManyChat or Seller Chatbot, there's all kinds of other tools that are relevant for either external marketing or Facebook advertising, Sixleaf or Seller tools. There's other ones as well where you're leveraging them in some way where you're doing something outside of Amazon, and there's all of these combinations of funnels and customer journeys that you're going through, and that kind of determines the complementarity of how it's complementary with other features that you're using and combining these different tools in different ways. So with something like Amazon Attribution, you have some flexibility, and then these next three rows are actually a combination of what this one means. So what's the kind of this one, the direct to Amazon or multiple channels, and then the next three are descriptions of that. So requirement for tracking in ads as opposed to other ones where it's the landing page or other pages that you don't necessarily have control over. So in the ads, this is the Facebook ad. What's the requirement for the attribution to start happening across all of these? So something like Amazon attribution Pixelfy, you need the presence of the link, because the Pixelfy link, or in the other where you have to have a coupon code or an affiliate link where that has to be clicked or used for it to be measured at some point. This is basically where Zontracker has advantage, where you don't need any of that. This is going through the Facebook API at some point in the later part of the process. So Facebook knows somebody was exposed to the ad account, a Facebook user, not at the individual level, but at aggregated level. They were exposed to the ad account, so then it doesn't matter if something is clicked or even viewed, the ad is just viewed. And same thing with offline conversions. I'm going to talk about that and some recent updates with offline conversions. So that has advantage. While the other ones, you kind of need a link in there. Same thing, requirement for tracking in a landing page. So your landing page, your website that you can control. You basically need the link present there, whether it's the Pixelfy link, the Amazon tagged links in there, coupon offer, the actual code that's you create in Amazon, affiliate links. The associate's gonna have to be careful where you're using it, if it's allowed or not, if it's for your own product or not. But basically, that has to be used for it to be tracked later on. And again, doesn't matter for Zontracker of what's happening on the landing page, as long as it started off with an ad, ends with a purchase. And then this gets for a lot of way more advanced brands. It's really important where they're doing this, it's working, but it's anywhere else online that's not your asset. And this could be parents.com, or where you have social proof, some sort of digital magazine, influencer site, somebody else talking about you. These other areas where in some ways you can have partnerships where they allow you to put a pixel on their site or their asset, or you give them a link that's pixeled, and then they're using that on their site. So that would be possible, but in most cases you kind of don't have control of their website. So you can't do that with Amazon attribution. That's a big negative there. But then the plus with Zontracker using offline conversion is that that doesn't matter. You could send traffic for the goal of brand awareness or for retargeting, to make your other ads better that are geared for actually getting purchases. But you're kind of sending people there, and people might purchase from that just because they're seeing, a third-party review, just like an actual, not like an Amazon review, but like a product review, like an unboxing, or like a YouTube video, things happening like that, where you're sending traffic from your Facebook ads. All right, so that was the combination of the multi or omni-channel customer journeys. So then, and this is very specific to Pixelfy, where shortening URLs, rotating URLs, adding multiple pixels within the URL across different platforms, pixels like AdWords, etc., or Amazon ranking specific URL. So that's unique to Pixelfy, kind of in this comparison here. Or if you're running some sort of ad, or you create a URL that you don't want to change that URL because it's going to like delete the social proof, or you don't want to edit it, or you give it out to an influencer and you can't change that URL. On the back end, you can kind of like rotate URLs or change URLs, so you could do that. That's very convenient that you don't have to change that original URL that the end customer sees. All right, targeting, building lookalike audiences. So for this one, later I'm talking about populating audiences, but basically this is being able to create either custom audiences or lookalike audiences. And Amazon Attribution, so that's an X, red X. So that's where it's its own platform. It's like not connected to Amazon anyway. You have tons of different data, but depending on how you're using Facebook ads, whether you're targeting totally cold traffic, new audiences, like maybe the audience shops on Amazon or not, but they're a new audience member, and you're targeting them, you're bringing them over to Amazon, and then they're purchasing. Then they're Amazon's customer, but they started off like their Amazon journey through you, at least through that ad, as opposed to if you're retargeting Amazon customers, and that's something that like Amazon doesn't like, if you're pulling in audiences different ways. It's kind of like the custom audience route versus building lookalikes route. So just kind of like separating that, but actually having that audience where you're creating that audience in Facebook Business Manager, what you're using in Facebook Ad Manager, you usually have a seed audience, and then the audiences you create based off of that. So if you're using Facebook API, so this is what Zontracker does, or other tools that are automatically sending different audiences, like let's say from Shopify, your website, the audience is coming into Facebook. Usually it's a seed audience that contains the entire audience, and then from that you segment based on time ranges or the type of product or purchase value or different things that you're segmenting the audience. So that's kind of like building the audience, which is different. Actually, like none of these tools are like specific to Facebook. There's a whole bunch of tools out there that are for Facebook ad buyers, media buyers, that there's tools relevant for creating audiences or doing things with targeting. But this is very specific on what custom events or conversion events, or what events is Facebook tracking that is able to create an audience off of from. So I think more common understanding is that Pixelfy, and basically if somebody's clicking that link, then that's building an audience. Somebody clicks that link, then it's already some level of engagement. Your custom audience is growing where that link is clicked, wherever that link is on your website, in an ad. But that's usually middle or top of funnel, where it's either awareness or there's engagement, there's kind of intent, but not necessarily the purchase. So it's just somebody clicking, or maybe they, from your website or a landing page or email, Facebook group, they click into the link, and that goes to Amazon. They're showing intent to go to Amazon, and then it's a black hole. Amazon Attribution is helping with that, but so that's why I'm referring it to as middle of the funnel, while Zontracker's bottom of the funnel. The whole goal is the purchase. There's the attribution that is happening, so it's Amazon customers and lookalikes of Amazon customers, and there's other ways where you can sync audiences. And before, kind of way more tools do this. There's probably some other ones that still do this, but you're basically able to have an audience that then you're leveraging with Facebook, and that's like making your customer support better, or other goals for launching new products, ranking campaigns. So managed by stats, Zon pages helps with that, and Zontracker as well. So then, this is probably going to be the biggest focus of Amazon attribution during this whole talk, is that there's so much data, like way too much data, and that's why I mentioned earlier that over time there's going to be guides from multiple people out there that you're following on how to leverage that Amazon attribution. But there's like so much data, and advanced advertisers probably like know what to do with it and how to start tracking and linking and doing bulk uploads and bulk data. So you have thousands of links that are all Amazon attribute ready. But out of all of that data, what comes top of mind of what's really valuable is knowing some of this data. Like one is behavior overall, what's happening on the site, the different conversion rates across different events and different pages. But one of the big ones is add to cart. That's probably one of the biggest ones, because what's the most important thing on Amazon? Purchases, and there's different indicators of that, the ranking and reviews, all of this, but the end goal is having purchase or purchases over time. But before a purchase happens, add to cart is one of the best metrics. And in e-commerce overall, Facebook ads, scaling Facebook ads, all of those brands that are running $10,000 per day in Facebook ads, that they're scaling it, it's because they went through this process of either getting purchases right away or add to carts, and knowing when to scale and when to send traffic and send data back to Facebook across all of those levels of the funnel, whether it's purchases, add to carts, and different engagement. And at some point, the Facebook algorithm has enough data where it knows who's adding to cart, who's purchasing. But you kind of have to do all of them at the same time, and there's different scaling strategies. But add to cart is really important, not just for retargeting purposes of being able to capture those that add to cart and then to come back and purchase, but just having the data of knowing where's that drop off of who goes to your listing and who purchased, what's happening in between. So this is, in my opinion, the biggest value of Amazon attribution, is knowing that data. Adding all kinds of like links and tags and tracking everywhere with Amazon attribution, that's helpful. That's going to be helpful with sales attribution. But immediately that's relevant for like the bigger brands, more advanced brands. For other brands, when you're running all kinds of ads and campaigns, you have to determine what's doing good or not, which creatives are working, which offers are working. You're going to have a variety of ads, and if you can't know which ones are leading to purchases because you don't have enough budget or data, you're going to make those decisions based on add to carts. So that's why add to carts are the most important for a majority of brands. So later on, I'm going to give some examples and like what do you do with all of this data or combining all of these. Looking at add to cart data is probably going to be the simplest and the first and possibly like only thing if you want to take any action with Amazon attribution, at least yet. Other than adding tags, just so you have that data, later when you have resources, you can look at all of it. All right, and then there's no other way of knowing that. So that's the huge advantage of Amazon attribution. All right, let's see. Tracking link clicks, tracking purchases from Facebook to Amazon, and it could be Facebook through any customer journey to Amazon. How we were talking about multi-channel attribution. More check marks for Amazon attribution Zontracker, just because you can get at the purchase level. However you're getting that data, or offline conversions also through in the other category, because it's purchases, that's more relevant. So you can get click attribution and some view attribution depending on where that link is or that tracking is. So some view attribution. With Zontracker, it's all click and view, so it's kind of like better than any type of view attribution. Pixelfy is anything that's click related, wherever that link is clicked. And the other methods, offline conversion, it's has that benefit of tracking purchases with click and view, similar to Zontracker. That's what Zontracker was based off, offline conversions, custom conversions, and then Zontracker is kind of combined with Facebook Pixel method as well. But offline conversion is probably like the best free or time-consuming thing you can do to try to replicate some of this, or manually. So basically, manually doing in this different ways of getting data, uploading, formatting columns, putting this into offline conversions or custom audiences, and Zapier helps with that. But the goal is tracking link clicks and purchases in different ways. And I'll talk about some Zapier automations where before they weren't possible, or they were, but with tons of errors, it wasn't really working. And only recently something happened in the Facebook algorithms that it made Zapier like more possible of like replicating some of this. Again, not with a lot of these other benefits, but at least some of the main parts of the automation. All right, populating the clicker and purchasers audiences and lookalike. So this is very similar to the targeting, build lookalike audiences. It's actually like almost the same thing. There's some nuance differences there, but this is the audience choice available in Facebook, and you choosing that. So again, Amazon Attribution can't do that. Zontracker purchases only who's purchasing. So I guess I'm just making that different from bottom of the funnel related and middle of the funnel, but it's anything that's clicks only related. Can't manage by stats in Zon pages. So also so before also credit to Feedback Genius, 6-Leaf Bridge, we're doing this as well. But recent Amazon API changes, so now there's either like not possible to do, or kind of losing some of that functionality, or lots of manual steps or other steps to make that work. All right, so this is a big one for some people, kind of depends on your preferences. This is the data directly in Facebook Ad Manager. Is the data in Amazon? Is the data in Google and Facebook Ad Manager? Do you see a column there? So for a lot of Facebook ad media buyers, they're in the Facebook Ad Manager. Maybe they're using other platforms that help with some of the ad automation with rules and creating ads and things like that, but usually one of the most preferred ways is directly in Facebook Ad Manager. You see the data there, you see all of your rows, all of your columns, you make the decisions right away, turning ads on or off. Like you're in there, the data is in there right away. With a lot of other methods, whether it's, let's first talk about, let me add, whether it's coupon codes or affiliate links, there's ways where you're trying to track purchases, or before Amazon Attribution, you can use like Amazon storefront, brand pages, add all kinds of tags, see data. But if it's coming from Google ads or Facebook ads, stick to Facebook ads here, running Facebook ads, you see the data in Amazon, and then you have to like take all of that data, either just in your head or in a spreadsheet, and then look in your Facebook Ad Manager, make the decisions there. And when you're trying to scale, your ads increase really fast, meaning the number of ads, where you have 10 ads, 100 ads, kind of depending on how much you're scaling, how advanced you are, or your budget levels. So that becomes impossible of like being in multiple platforms for the same campaign, or it just becomes much harder. So one advantage is Zontracker, data is just in a column in there. And then there's the events manager. You can kind of like see aggregated level kind of activity that's happening. So that's what I mean that Pixelfy data is directly in Facebook Ad Manager, because you could create custom conversions, audiences, like that data is in Facebook Ad Manager, in the Business Manager, and then you could do things with the audience, create audience, change audiences, create custom conversions, see columns with custom conversion data events that are happening based on the Pixelfy link activities. None of that in Amazon Attribution. It's all in Amazon. All that data is in Amazon. Maybe in the future there'll be ways where you can pull that Amazon Attribution data outside of Amazon and do things with it. Amazon won't be okay with that, but there's probably like ways of doing that. Link is all right. Maximizes match rate. So this is one where Zontracker is leveraging Facebook API, and there's Zontracker algorithm, different matching algorithms in there. The reason it's the best one, and I've heard many times people saying that are using, whether it's managed by stats or other services, that they're pulling audiences that, or manually doing this, pulling audience into Facebook. You have certain match rate, whether it's 40%, 60%, 70%, there's different match rates that you have of who's on Facebook, who you're able to then build lookalike audiences from. And the match rates, there's two parts. I'm going to focus here on just the just overall audience match rates. There's other match rates that are based on sales attribution because nobody else is doing this. Then it's very specific to Zontracker of what actual purchase attribution is happening through Facebook API after the audience matching. But that's different match rates. It's kind of like any data is better than any data, and it kind of varies a lot across accounts. But with the audiences, you can manually upload data, but you're limited because you format it into how Facebook wants the data. You upload it, and then there's the match, and it's whatever you have. But that's like 50% match rates. I think like most people say that it's common that it's like 30 to 60% is the match rate range. But still, it's very common that you see most people saying that they're getting like 40 to 50%. You have to be doing different things with the data to try to increase that match rate. And then across the different platforms, you just frequently hear that Zontracker is having higher match rates. There's one other thing that Amazon doesn't like, and like almost nobody offers this, and Zontracker doesn't do this, is email appends that increase match rates, but just a few percentage points. But even without that, one thing that's maybe launching really soon here with Zontracker is that you could take any of the other data from Managed by Stats or Zon pages or whatever you're doing with offline conversions or Zapier that I'll show you, and basically sync that to Zontracker and then to Facebook. So you're leveraging Zontracker's algorithm and Facebook API to increase match rates regardless of what any other method you're doing. So that's a big one. I think it's going to be really helpful. You're just leveraging more of your audience. All right, maximizing match rate. Optimizing Facebook ads for Amazon clickers purchases. So this was around 5 months ago where through Zontracker came out with an Amazon purchase pixel, which was a pretty big deal. So there was teaser about it, basically made it available to optimize in Facebook ads purchases that are Amazon purchases that are coming from Facebook ads. You weren't able to do offline conversions, optimizing for that in Facebook, and Amazon didn't have that feature. Even right now with Amazon Attribution coming out with the beta attribution, the whole idea was like, what can you do with it? And it was like, oh, Amazon Attribution is going to be perfect. It's like the Facebook Pixel basically, but Amazon is not allowing the Facebook Pixel, so it's kind of like a huge disappointment of what Amazon Attribution like it still can't do. Still, like it's nice to have all of this data, but basically like we don't have the Facebook Pixel in Amazon still. I'm like explaining all of this, which may be a bad idea because it's telling you why you shouldn't be using Zontracker because all of these alternatives. But my goal is more about to show you how to leverage it all together to amplify it, rather than some people might decide like, okay, actually I don't need this tool, I just need this tool, and maybe for beginners that's better, or kind of using the free methods so you exchange for your time. But combining all of these is how you can get more advanced and more ahead of competition, ahead of the curve. So optimizing Facebook ads for Amazon purchasers. Pixelfy is one link because it's for clickers. Whoever is from an ad or on a website, they're engaging with a Pixelfy link, and then they're going to Amazon, they're showing intent, you can optimize for that. So in Zontracker is optimizing for the purchase, and well, after that came out, I guess it took 5 months for Amazon to come out with an attribution program. Offline conversion, this is interesting. This is like very recent. Like Facebook is starting to roll this out. It's not available in most accounts. I'll actually show this where you can optimize for offline conversions. This now becomes very similar to Zontracker being able to optimize for conversions. There's a lot of like negative trade-offs of doing it. You're not doing it through Facebook API unless you can figure out and with lower match rates. But I'm going to show you. You guys can like do that for free. It's limited, but very similar to what Zontracker is doing. Zontracker is actually leveraging a Facebook Pixel and offline conversions together as opposed to just the offline conversion. But that's a newer thing, and that's a big one. All right, and so then basically through this process, that was like the whole campaign where you're creating your ads, you're targeting your offers, your links, where everything is going. your audience is engaging with the content, they're engaging with the Amazon website, they're purchasing or not, you're seeing data, you're making interpretations, you're doing things to maximize rate, match rates, your interpretation of the data, and you're kind of like repeating this process where Facebook algorithm is improving, you're getting data in Amazon, whether things are ranking or not, where you're getting add to carts, and you're kind of repeating that process. That's you're iterating, making it better, and focusing your budget into the better ads. So some of these other things are rows about the features are relevant. They just kind of don't fit into that exact process. Let's see this category, and there's kind of like 3 sections into here. It's kind of like one aggregated row, like user friendliness or how friendly is it. So Amazon attribution, I put it as the hardest because there's like way too much data. You can do lots of different things in there, but lots of different steps, lots of links, lots of tagging. So it's nice to have this. I think more advanced brands will kind of know what to do with it. For others, it's going to be a learning curve figuring out. Zontracker, medium, now that it's not complex, sometimes it is, but probably not as complex as Amazon attribution. And I think it's lower than hard is because in many cases you just like activate, you set it up, and it's like all running in the back end, and it's like it's above all of the other strategy. I mean, it's compatible with like anything you're doing, and you activate it. You kind of have to do like download upload method because some of automation is removed, but it's active in the background. You're getting extra data. You could use the optimized pixel feature, so that'll give you more information. But like it's kind of basic in the way where you activate it, and then it keeps track of data, but it's not as many options as Amazon attribution. And Pixelfy easy because it's like it's very focused at what it does, some of the features, and there's not as much analytics as in the other methods because it's just based on clicking, and then you have to do a lot of interpretations on effectiveness of your marketing and campaigns. The beginner advanced, this is advanced that I think more advanced brands will be easier to understand how to use this. Similar for Zontracker and the types of strategies that I'm seeing. For Pixelfy, moderate. Now that you can use, there's a lot of advanced brands and very advanced effectiveness of using Pixelfy, and Tom Bilyeu just used Pixelfy link, posted about that. But I guess the idea is that there's on Zontracker website where it kind of put like an epic guide for Facebook ads for Amazon brands, and there's like 12 examples of funnels or different things that brands are doing. When you're using links or certain ranking strategies, you're kind of limited to the types of funnels that you're going to be running. So so like Pixelfy would probably fit into that. While with Amazon attribution Zontracker, this is where everything is open. You can do whatever you want. You could run traffic to influencer sites. You could do a lot of brand awareness and all of these omni-channel and customer journey funnels. So that's what I mean. You can get advanced there. And Amazon attribution is the opportunity for that now, seeing more of that data. And Zontracker helps with leveraging that. And yeah, the combination of the other things I think kind of go more advanced as soon as you start adding other tools into the mix. And for advanced, talking with a guy named George, some of you know, George Bryant, saying, I mean, they're spending more than $10 million on Facebook ads across all of the different his brands or brands he's working with per month. Per month. So there's this big amount of revenue they're getting and a big amount of Amazon revenue that's not attributed anywhere. And he was just telling me, we were chatting, that like that's attributed, that's accounted for, or at least as far as the accuracy allows. So it's, but at those budgets, there's like all of these, not necessarily like advanced, but just more comprehensive, where there's a brand you're building and it's more long term. So you kind of start diversifying in the strategies. So that's part of the advanced there too. All right, campaign redundancy steps, extra steps. So what this means is, let's say you run a campaign and then you do a new campaign. Like how much of the steps do you have to do again, or what do you have to do again? So what that means is that you have to create new tags, new links, and there's kind of like one arrow for all of these. But so something like Zontracker, where you kind of set up everything in the beginning, and then if you're duplicating Facebook ad sets and you're testing the optimization, the CT optimized purchase objective, then that's extra steps, but that's part of your ad strategy. Also, you're gonna have to do a manual download upload method, kind of feeding Zontracker the data for all of the different features, except kind of like newer map feature that I'm not really talking about here. But so that's kind of like redundant steps there. Amazon attribution, it depends how many products you have, how many channels, how many media platforms you're on, of creating new links. So you kind of have to like create the different tags there, but then once they're there with live, similar with Pixelfy, you create links, and it just depends, can you reuse that link or not. Something with Zapier, basically 2 check marks, because there's like more automation. You kind of like build it all once. It might take you way longer to build it initially, but then the process takes over. And again, it's only the feature that Zapier can help you with, which is kind of like sending information to Facebook. And the reason with X by using offline conversion or method is you just have to spend way more time doing any of this. So the tools or software definitely helps. Terms of service, probably the only thing I want to say is that Amazon attribution is by Amazon, so it's like 3 check marks. That's the highest. It's within terms of service, and anything else is probably gray hat or somewhere between white and black hat, depending what sellers do. So I think that's why there's like different number of check marks, and Amazon doesn't really want you doing anything outside of Amazon. There's way more discussions in Facebook groups and different communities that people know way better than me about terms of service, but basically communicating with audience outside of Amazon doesn't want it, even most people are doing it. So I would kind of just urge kind of just thinking about the privacy of the customer, like not in a way to like hack or work around Amazon, but not like freaking out consumers. So because I know a lot of brands have a lot of success communicating with Amazon customers afterwards, but then try to get those customers before rather than kind of like Amazon customers. And probably the only reason Zontracker has less check marks than Pixelfy is because Pixelfy is more focused. There's like less you can do with it compared to any type of strategy. So kind of gives the power for Amazon sellers, like whatever they're doing, Zontracker just may be activated on the back end. So it's like who knows what brands are doing. But again, it's data outside of Amazon, whether it's audience or purchase data. And that's kind of like bending rules, whether it's Amazon data protection policies of what's happening with that data, or just a privacy policy and all of the seller related policy of communicating with customers outside of Amazon. And the same applies with like anything you're doing outside of Amazon, sending data in different ways, whether it's through tools or manually. But I think like a clear one is like email appends, where Amazon has said before, where like that's a no, and software and services have stopped providing that. It's just, again, there's not like white or black. Like Amazon will probably say like no to a lot of things, but email appends is like you can directly email customers, or same with like phone append. So that's like a more obvious one of email appends, how that fits in. That helps with match rates with doing any of this. So I know some people will ask about that, but that's a good one to have more discussions on. I think just depends on the brand and how much you're bending the rules. That's probably a good way to say. All right, marketplaces, for vendor central only, seller central. The beta Amazon attribution program was vendor central only. Over time, more seller central brands are having access to a variant of that beta program after the beta, and it's going to be rolling out to more seller central accounts, but it's on Amazon.com. For United Kingdom, there's some access to, and it seems like brand registry, again, this might roll out to more brands over time, but Pixelfy links, it's like just, you can, wherever you put the link, it's gonna work unless it's stripped in some way, so that works anywhere. Zontracker is North America and works in Europe too. It's functional, just not as good as in North America. And the Zontracker functionality, which is taking purchase data and doing things with it in Amazon, tracking purchases, doing things with audiences, it's functional in other platforms too, just like never marketed at all. And some of the functionality has to be improved, but like eBay, so where other Amazon sellers may be in other e-commerce areas, that's relevant too. But basically, um, about different marketplaces. But it's one of those things Amazon will probably roll that out to others as well. All right, let's see some other notes. It seems that this might change too, where it's 14-day attribution of how long after somebody engages with a Amazon attribution pixel or a tagged link. And Zontracker, Pixelfy too, it's based on Facebook default, all of their native options, which is 28-day click review, and then you just can change the different settings on how you view the data, whether it's 1-day view, 28-day click, that's the most common. For brands with probably bigger budgets or more aggressive, they look at 1-day view and 7-day click. And if you just want to have an overall comprehensive view, but being very kind of careful with the interpretations, you do 28-day view and 28-day click. It's like you'll have way more data than if it's less days and less for the view attribution, but at least you'll see some campaigns that are having 28-day view attribution sales. It's good knowing that than campaigns that don't have that. So that's have some relevancy there. And Facebook attribution, that's its own program too. You kind of have to go to Facebook attribution in the business settings to activate it, and that has up to 90 days. It's not at the ad level, that kind of sucks, but it'll report also at the 90-day attribution level. But again, have to be really careful interpreting that. Reason I put PPC, and whether it's well, mainly like Amazon PPC, but if you're adding in Google PPC, if you're kind of like leveraging all kinds of other tools, seller SEO, traffic titan, or if you're doing things with other types of traffic, and you can start getting creative with strategies, how you may be bringing in top of the funnel traffic into Amazon through like Amazon PPC for branded keywords. You're gonna very low ACoS, some of the best campaigns, your most profitable campaigns, the branded keywords, those are going to increase as soon as you have external marketing where people are going to be searching for your brand, if it's easy to search for your brand. So you can combine that strategically. Know you have traffic coming in, increasing your PPC that's brand related, and then adding in retargeting to the mix, which could be from all of the different channels from Facebook and retargeting. So that's the bottom of the funnel, but it's combining. But that's possible. You're basically going to have more data as that sales are happening and whether they're attributed later or not. All right, that was the big part about comparison across all of those, and now let's jump into a very specific kind of funnel examples as you're going kind of here from top to bottom of how it looks like in like an ad example and inside some of the different platforms. Mainly I'm going to be focusing on Facebook Ad Manager in these examples. All right, so now with this comparison, some of you may be like, all right, I want to do all of that, or that's too complex, or you understand a little bit better between some of the differences and ways to leverage depending on where you are in a step of a marketing campaign. So let's look at some closer examples. And first, let me put into context of how it's going to be relevant as we're navigating this funnel and different features. So this is from Stephen Black. When you're thinking about the buying intent, from the best being the purchase versus just awareness or lower intent, this is happening through either one customer journey in a funnel from a Facebook ad to purchasing on Amazon, and it may all happen within a few minutes or a month. But basically the idea is that through all kinds of ads and engagement, it's top of the funnel, lower buying intent, and then on on Amazon, there's a purchase happening, and in between that, if it's your own website, then we have add to cart data, things like that. And where it fits in, some of the different tracking that we have, where purchase with Zontracker, then this area between what the engagement on the site and before on Amazon, the site, and before Amazon, this is where the some sort of click to Amazon with a pixel link, like with Pixelfy, will help. So that's through like your email or in the Facebook group, in different areas where you can anywhere you can put a link, because we know people are going to their Amazon, so that buying intent is in the middle. So this is important to understand, and where you're actually have two goals. One is that you're moving the customer throughout the journey, kind of closer to higher buying intent, or you're finding them at the right time or their intent is, and also sending enough data to Facebook across all of these steps at the same time. That's key, at the same time, because Facebook is going to know how to optimize better of seeing who's not making it further, who's just in the top of the funnel, who's at the bottom of the funnel, and how all of those dynamics together. So Facebook figures all of that out. Right. So, and you could be doing all kinds of different scenarios where it's Facebook to Amazon, and whether it's through Messenger bot, or then you're kicking in your email marketing, all kinds of funnels, or through influencer marketing, all kinds of different channels. So let's go into, so you're kind of starting off at the top where you're creating your ads, you're sending traffic, you're setting up all of your different links. So let's look through Facebook now, just so you actually see an example of an ad. And so the really cool part here, this is compatible with kind of like any type of strategy you're doing, or let's say you're doing manual Suarez training, or you're doing rank and bank from Ecom Hub. You've learned a strategy, you're taking information, you're trying to apply it, then it's going to be complementary to that entire chart of all of these other ways where you can track performance or take it to the next level, or start testing other strategies as well. So you have just an example of a ad. In this case, actually choosing Amazon purchase Amazon purchase pixel as opposed to your normal website pixel. So if somebody goes to your chatbot, you get a message. I'm actually taking this. This is a template from Paul Harvey, and you guys should check out. There's very recent videos with Paul Harvey and Michelle Barnum-Smith kind of about messenger bots and different strategies and tips. But in this example, where it's a rebate funnel, you kind of see the instructions. Search for toddler placemat with a Bam Bam Boom brand. We're building a case study. So just in a way, it's very basic, but it works. Just like some of the click metrics are really nice, or the cost per message or cost per rebate. But here, in this case where it's a search, find, buy, we're linking to Amazon, but this is actually a Pixelfy link. So somebody goes to, so we'll talk about Pixelfy in a second, but so it's a messenger bot funnel, and ultimately later on you're gonna see some of that data in Amazon, and you, depending on how you're doing, you're gonna see data whether it's through offline conversion or through Zontracker, which ones are leading to purchases, which ones are twice as high or not leading to any sales. And this is like a very low volume account. It's a brand that's just starting to grow on, or just starting on Amazon basically. So it's low volume, but the goal is to see where more purchases, lower cost per purchase, which adds to kind of scale and use in the future or not. So one of the things with how I mentioned Pixelfy, how this fits in here is, so let's click that. So it's going to be a Pixelfy link that goes to just to homepage. Again, there's all kinds of other strategies you could use for it to send to like different types of URL you're using. But in this case, this is at the end of the funnel, and we want that link click pixel too. So what's happening is, if you click View Setup, you can actually see the audiences that are used. And let's look at that one. So basically, some of the audiences are based on the Pixelfy link clickers or lookalikes based off the link clickers. So it's one of the things you definitely want to do is create audiences based off either the Pixelfy link click. So this is, it's using that pixel, and it's using custom events based on Pixelfy. Actually, just an example of how to do that. You take your normal, your Facebook pixel code. So if you're going to, I'll come back to it in a second, but if you're in your Facebook Business Manager and you're in your pixels, you go into your pixel, and just the normal way you're setting up your code, you're going to get your Facebook pixel code, whether it's for your normal website, but this is where it's really cool to use it for the Zontracker Facebook pixel. So you could do some of the other cool things in there, but you take that code, you put it into Pixelfy Me, and then you just change this part where it's kind of like by default by page view or other events, but make it relevant so it has, you know, like Pixelfy, that it goes to the home page or ads or other names. So that way when someone is clicking a certain step, you're pixeling that when they're going away from Facebook then into another platform or into the Amazon app. But basically, we're building that audience. You can create audiences, that make sure you have audiences based off those different events. Also, you would want to create lookalike audience based on that Pixelfy audience. So you would create that with 1%. So you have Pixelfy audience based on a certain level of engagement, and not just a click from anywhere, but deeper into the funnel. Now it's middle of the funnel. They're engaged with the chatbot, and that's a rebate funnel. So it's different audience than if you're trying to get real full price sales. And then within your tracking, you have the Facebook pixel link, and then just a normal link that is going to Amazon. This is where you would also add your Amazon attribution links into the Pixelfy link. So you're like hitting a bunch of birds with one stone, of trying to give all kinds of data to Facebook and to Amazon. So you're using that link, and if you're looking at the Events Manager, so this is one of the things I see that people aren't really doing with Pixelfy. They're just using it for just like one objective, or as soon as they find out they could do the Amazon purchase pixel, they kind of do one or the other. But this is where it's important to do this level, where you're sending all of this data at the same time at the different levels, where it's kind of like middle of the funnel, buying intent, and then there's purchase intent. You need more data for that. And what you're going to see is that you end up having the purchase data that's coming in when you're doing download upload. So Facebook is going to have purchase data, and it's going to have different Pixelfy data, basically different levels of engagement. And then on top of this, there's top funnel ad data that Facebook will have, just because you have the ad, and that's just coming straight from the ad data, whether it's however many clicks there are, or video views, or some of that engagement of the ad. So that's kind of top of the funnel data, Pixelfy middle of the funnel, and purchase data, which either through Zontracker or through offline conversions or Zapier combination, I'll show in a moment. So then in your audiences, you would basically duplicate all of your ad sets. So if you have one ad set that you're running to make this funnel possible, or so let's say this is a rebate, maybe like at a low level you're doing it. It may not be to a cold audience, or where you're trying to spend $1,000 on Facebook ads per day. But let's say for those campaigns where you want to duplicate those ad sets and add all of those audiences in there as separate ad sets, where one of the audiences is based off of the Zontracker purchases. Another audience is based off of Pixelfy, kind of like further in the funnel. You may have other Pixelfy links that are higher in the funnel, that are just maybe directly in the ad, that are clicked from there, not actually part of the process later, or in a landing page or email or in a Facebook group that's already like a little bit further down into the funnel. So all of those should be audiences and 1% lookalike audiences off of that. That way the algorithm is adjusting and your campaigns get better over time. So that's, even though it's kind of like common in e-commerce space, a lot of Amazon brands are not doing that. Even advanced brands aren't doing that. So try to add that into your mix, and you're going to see all of that different activity in here. Again, like now, if let's say you're using a landing page within your pixel, you can go into settings, turn on automatic advanced matching. You can go to open event setup tool, and this is in your website. You can type in your website domain, also have automatic without code on, and then you can click a certain button and call that something like, give it a custom conversion name, and then that event is what you're making the custom conversions off of. So it's very similar to what Pixelfy is doing, but still you have a lot of other advantages with Pixelfy, but that's another option too, as a simpler way, or if you just want to like do something for free, but that's going to be limited, but that's can explore that as well. All right, so let's see where we're at. So we're created ads, we have some of the targeting in place, the tracking in place. So in Amazon Attribution, you're setting up the tracking codes, you're putting those in there, and you're getting data throughout this whole time. So in a way, these are complementary, where you're getting Zontracker data, Pixelfy data, Amazon Attribution data, like it's all happening. It's a lot of data to analyze and interpret, but this is how you're combining all of this to make the best decision to scale campaigns later on and turn off campaigns that aren't working. So you're starting to get traffic, you're getting data, it's optimizing over time because you have all of the different audiences in there, different behaviors. You're starting to look at the add to cart data. Then when you're going into your in Facebook Ad Manager, you see ads and you see how much you're spending, where you're getting purchases or not. You go back into Amazon Attribution and you see for some of these that you're not sure, let's say you spend a lot of money but they're like not tracking any purchases, or the 8 purchases versus 4 purchases, how do the add to carts compare? If you don't have the high buying intent data, then you go into the next available data. So for a lot of these other ads that are like not getting any purchases, maybe they're getting a lot of add to carts, and that's good, whether it's for ranking purposes or it's potentially higher quality audience than the ones that are getting no add to carts. So that's one step. Turn off all of the ads that are getting like nothing. You're spending money, maybe you're just getting clicks, but there's ads that you're getting purchases and there's ads that you're getting add to carts. So that's how you combine Amazon Attribution data, kind of just like manually interpreting it and then knowing which ads to turn off, because each of these ads should have a unique Amazon Attribution tag, whether in the Pixelfy link that it's using or in the ad itself or the links that are being used. That way you know exactly which ad is leading to the Amazon add to cart, or certain conversion rates. If you want higher conversion rates, where that's very important too. Not just purchase conversion rates, but just add to cart conversion rates from page views, product listing views. All right, so we're further down. We're doing some of the optimization because we have the Zontracker pixel as well. So view setup, we see that it's using the Amazon purchase pixel, somewhere kind of website pixel, kind of depending where the traffic is going. So now let me bring in some of these other aspects about whether it's Zapier and offline conversion. So let's see. So Zapier, so one of the things you can do, let me go to plans. So one thing is risky here is that you could potentially eat through a ton of data. So at the beginning of Zontracker, so more than a year ago, I actually used Zapier. Let me show you this. So this is trying to automate getting some of the Amazon information into Facebook. Yeah, I'll show you guys. I don't use it much anymore, but before this could get really expensive. So in a way, it's kind of like the automatic way and even the like kind of like free way in other ways, but you're gonna have tasks add up really fast. So it's like 500,000 tasks of trying to, and this is only several brands in a month, where each Amazon order actually ends up being multiple tasks, because what you're doing is you're sending Amazon data to Facebook, and here I'm going to show you how easy this is now. You could create a Zap, but again, the reason I was showing you those tasks is that this could add up a lot. So you kind of think that you'll save on not using other tools, but it could end up being way more. So you could choose Amazon Seller Central, and then new order is a Zap. I'm going to skip the actual test, but just so you can see that the, the first part of the setup is easy. Later, you're probably going to have to do a lot of quality control and checking to make sure that it's working. But then, here's a huge tip for everybody. For some of you, this may be a money-saving tip or a time-saving tip, but again, quality is probably going to be lower, like it definitely is, but you could do different things with audiences and offline conversions using Zapier. Again, that's why I mentioned the Zaps, that it could really add up. And so it's kind of easy to set up, where you set up your Facebook offline conversion, continue, and then you basically like you create the Zap. But so if you're sending, whether it's offline, let me see, whether it's offline conversion data or audience data, it'll be in there. Just the match rates potentially will be really low though. So it'll kind of like, it'll work, but you have to do a lot of things to make it work. So before this wasn't possible. Like those Zaps were available, but there was something in the Facebook algorithm that it didn't take in the data, or it was like really bad. It was like 10% matching rate. But one other thing that, let me show you guys. So relevant to that, to Zapier, this wasn't possible before. So let's say you're creating a campaign, just a new Facebook ad campaign, and these are the offline conversions, where you go into conversions, the demo campaign, continue, and here's a store sales, and this is not available in most accounts, but you should check if you have it. And when you go to store sales and click here and just choose your offline conversion event, basically your conversion event, and with that you will be able to optimize for offline conversions, which is a weird thing. This may have been because I've trying to communicate with Facebook to try to implement this for a while, but they didn't really have a case used before, because offline conversions is people from phone calls and retail stores, but basically this will try to optimize for Amazon purchases, and this is what Zontracker came out with 5 months ago, but now some accounts are able to do this. Again, this is limited in that the match rates will probably be lower, because you'll be doing this either manually or even with Zapier. You can try to automate it and kind of like do this like for free, but match rates will potentially be low. So there's advantages if you're using other tools or combining with Zontracker to have higher match rates. Otherwise, through the website, you would choose your, whether it's your normal website pixel or the Amazon purchase pixel. That would be probably called that in your account, Zontracker pixel purchase, and it's optimizing for the purchase, but it's leveraging actual pixel, not just the offline conversion. But for this to work, make sure in your business settings you have to create the offline conversion in order to see it here in the offline conversion event. And that's very simple. And like, do this right now. Later you may need this, but if you have it activated now, it may be tracking data that you can look at later, even if you don't think you need it now. So go into data sources, offline event sets. This page sometimes takes a while to load, but it's going to be a button where you say add data source, create offline event set, and then you just name it whatever you want, Amazon Purchase Pixel, and you create the offline event set. You have to accept all kinds of Facebook privacy policy because you're sending in data from somewhere that Facebook isn't expecting. It's not based off a website into this offline event set, and that's actually what Zontracker is doing. It's just kind of based off like this pixel asset that's created or offline event asset, and it's combining them. So you create the offline event set, you create it, and then you assign an ad set to it. So make sure, or I'm sorry, you assign an ad account. So make sure the offline event set has an ad account for you to be able to see it in this option. So it's for whatever ad account you have. So combining that, these are newer things. So that's what the Zapier offline conversion is, and it'll help you accomplish some of these different tasks. Might take you more time. The Zapier will help you with automating that, but the Zapier could potentially get expensive. So combine that in those ways where you're running the ads. Oh yeah, just when I want to jump into Helium 10, kind of like boost feature where like you're running ranking. This was specifically on that campaign we saw. This was like very low volume, but very recent, meaning like advertising spend volume, where you're looking at your campaign effectiveness, then you know, is it going to drop, is it going to stay, but not a sales boost, or there's sales boost, then you make interpretations off of that. You're going back into your add to cart data, your Facebook data, your purchase data that is starting to come in. You're kind of doing like download upload method, or you're integrating. This is actually this this next part about managed by stats on pages, and kind of upcoming feature where you don't have to do download upload. You like sync managed by stats on pages or other, or like Zapier like data into Zontracker. So that will kind of help it'll kind of get back to semi-automation of being able to see purchase data. Then in Amazon Attribution, you see add to cart data, other data, and then you turn off the ads that aren't working based on your ranking effect or your sales data that you're looking in Amazon as well. And let's see, anything I missed? Yeah, so the cool part is that if you're complementing this with all kinds of strategy, like rebate key is popular. You may be using like rank bell, or you're mixing different strategies where you're trying to rank or do strategies and make decisions based off the ranking that's happening, and adding retargeting with Facebook ads. That all of these are basically complementary that in different ways. So that's the nice part with that. So that was one example where it's based off kind of like rebate strategy. Just one other thing that's well, there's a lot of strategies, but just one thing, maybe like more advanced version. And Paul Barron is doing this right now with his brand. He's public about this, his brand, so it's working where he's just sending traffic to parents.com. His brand was mentioned there. Oh, actually, let me see if that open. So basically just sending traffic from a Facebook ad to parents.com, and then that's linking to Amazon and getting purchases. And this is an example where you could combine all of these examples where sending traffic to a different site, so why not optimize it for Amazon purchases within the ad, whether it's to a Pixelfy link, have Amazon attribution set up where you see, are people ending up on like on that site. So if it's parents.com, it may be harder to tell them what link to use. So that's a disadvantage there. But you're leveraging third-party social proof. You're sending to a different site, so you can get really creative in kind of like where you're sending the traffic, and then that traffic is coming to Amazon, and you kind of have semi-tracking and be able to interpret that, and then seeing that from your ad where some of the purchases are coming in. So just another example that's like not like a rebate or ranking method, but totally different, that a lot of brands are actually using and very successful, but usually bigger brands where they have PR or media where they can send traffic somewhere else other than Amazon or their website. All right, I think I've been talking long enough. Let me know if there's any questions, and definitely would want to dive in Amazon Attribution actually into the platform, and as more brands have access, we'll know how to leverage that even better. All right, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching.